It's such a joy to observe this session with you, Vadim. I was just thinking that, it brings your enthusiasm and your excitement, which you always had. I mean, we've known each other for so many years, and this is such a youthful, given,
Well,
complete.
they play so well, and they're so young, and all life is in front of them. It's and
No, I
on
think
my opinion, they both really are great players. All what needed, I think, is just developing the logic. I think very often people forget about logic in music. It's sheer excitement. It's extreme heart using emotions and everything, but simple logic sometimes can make wonders and be even more expressive as a sheer power or other things. So the good combination in between is always, I think, is nice. People, uh, not people, artists, including myself, we all a little bit guilty into this, that we don't spend enough time calculating. But calculating, I mean making the interpretation based with metronome, based with a tempo relations to each other. Because tempo itself has no meaning. It could be fast, could be slow. What is real importance, I think, is connection between the tempis that make either a beautiful structure like architecture, or it will be a little bit like a Lego game in pieces on the floor before you start making it together.
yes, absolutely, I agree with you. But what I was saying, it's still something very individual. Like even when you demonstrate, it's great to have strong ideas and to know the piece from inside out. But when you actually insert your breath and your excitement to the music, it's what makes it alive, and it's what actually makes your teaching today is, I think, very valuable for everyone, because you create this on the spur moment, and it makes
But
it.
I think it's a problem and a good sign on one side, because I don't teach, as you know. For me, master class is only if I'm really asked to do master classes. So I'm, of course, it's in my back door somewhere in the back of my mind to maybe take a class somewhere. uh, we will see, the future will tell us. It's because it is interesting, especially you get so much energy from youngsters. And when I did master classes like in Salzburg, for example, or in New York or Tel Aviv, it's really fantastic. But I was never ready to actually dive into this as a part-time job, part-time profession. We'll see. But
But
anyway, it's for me, every time is like the first time
but
so
I
far.
think it's what makes it's very special, because you are consciously developing your own ideas, and when you work with the student, it really helps sometimes to really articulate those ideas when you speak, when you try. I think it's interesting process for us as performers to realize when we give an advice, perhaps we suddenly get an idea which we're already developing in our head when we listen
Yeah,
somebody
but
play.
yeah, I think teaching is in general, it's a quite a difficult art. I think because on one side, you, there are many ways of teaching. Some teachers, they just say this must be played just like this because it is tradition. Somebody say this must be played like this because of other reasons. But I think that students themselves should find their own way, and we must not be in a way press with our personalities, but we must rather open their personalities. And when they react as quick as these two guys, I really enjoyed very much working, because they were able immediately not to just do what I was asking, but already do it with personality. And so you can feel the strong personality on both of them. And that, I think, makes us happy in the end, when something right in front of eyes is becoming rather more interesting. And I think they have a long way to go. And masterclass is, I try not to just tell them details of something, but the way of approaching it. As I said, the logic is in everywhere. So if you have an accent in one place, or if you have a ritenutos in some place, and specifically if it's not written, there must be really, really good reason for it.
But I think it was really very special, especially with the Prokofiev concerto. When you work, you created such a wide picture with the fairy tale, with all the voices inside out. So I think for everyone who attended this session with you, I think it will be a life-changing experience in terms of the perceiving at least this piece, and also
Well, this
how
concerto
you
is one of my
approach the
absolute
process.
favorites. Sorry?
And also the way you approach the piece, how it's another actually question I wanted to ask you. For instance, if you learn, you have a very vast repertoire these days, but when you learn, you still commission pieces through the Trans-Siberian Festival, which is wonderful. So you're still in the process of learning new pieces. Can you share a little bit? How do you approach a new piece? What is your, with all the experience? Of course, I think it has changed through your career in 30 years. But what do you find the valuable and more efficient way to learn the new piece?
Well, every piece is different. So firstly, of course, you have to see what you have to play yourself, how hard it is, how difficult it is technically. And then, of course, the score. This is the Bible. So violin part is nothing. Even if you take any piece by classics, and if take the Brahms quintet, for example, or Brahms piano quartet, and just look at the violin part, you get nothing of the piece. So you absolutely have to know what's happening around you, and what logic it involves, what material is crossing, or is there a conflict, or is there an absolute idyllic kind of, or some places, especially in the modern music, some places represent only state of mind, for example, and nothing else. So the simpler you create some minimalistic picture, the better it serves the given piece. But yeah, it takes a long time to learn your part, to the way that once you go to the first rehearsal, you have to make music, and this is a must, I think. It's just everywhere the same.
Absolutely, but in terms of the just violinistic approach, and I've been asking every guest on this platform, on this webinar, to share insights of your own practice routine. I mean, especially during this time of pandemic,
Yeah, tenths,
everyone
tenths and
had
octaves.
some kind of pause for a couple of months. So we all know what we did last summer, right?
Yes, but it is octaves, it is double scales, and scales help, I think, every day. This is a must. It's like brushing your teeth. And the older I get, the more I think this way.
Absolutely, it's wonderful that you're saying. And in terms of the maybe some of the passages from the concerto, do you find something helpful for you even to warm up before you go on the stage? Because I know, and I've seen you so many times before the performances. I know that you take it always very seriously. You don't just let it happen by itself. Even if you play Brahms concerto several hundred times, I don't know. Still, you put yourself mentally. You prepare yourself. You create this kind of space before the performance, which is really it's absolutely necessary and wonderful to have to anticipate the special creative experience. But in terms
Yes,
of violin playing, you have
yeah, I see what you mean.
routine.
I see what you mean. It's, there are many I don't know, maybe they're not secrets, but little things that I find important. One of them is, very often the day of a concert, especially if you feel like this concert is so important and it's so kind of grand from many aspects, like great orchestra, you know, wonderful maestro, a fantastic hall. You wake up, of course, with the feeling of nervousness. And if you give it in a way, and you let this state of mind be all day with you, you are completely burned out by 6 o'clock in the evening. So when you have to go to play concert, you already there is nothing left in emotionally in you to perform. And another thing, of course, is that every concert our public treats as it is the concert that they bought the tickets and they arrived. So they think that this has to be the best concert of that given artist who is performing on stage. And to get to the state, of course, it's it's not nice if I say it's like a little bit being drugged, you know, in some way, that you are on stage not only nervous, but you are there with so much oxygen in your lungs that you know you can embrace the world. That is also extremely important. You cannot go on stage like if it would be rehearsal or general rehearsal or something. It You have to create. You can be tired from whatever, learning new piece, or from flying, or from, you know, especially now in pandemic times, you know, to get to place, it takes 5 times more time than we came like 1 century back of getting to places. So this all has to be apart, and you have to somehow manage inside of you to get all the reserves to this to be the concert of the life, like it's your last concert. And that is also important. But to find this balance, that you don't burn out yourself during day. So if you are nervous 12 hours before concert or 2 hours before concert, uh, you're not going to play much better or much worse. It's also kind of, it's a fact, it's given. We all get nervous. There'll be concerts. So I try to busy myself with other things. So maybe watch a serial or read something, or just go out and have a long walk and try to think of different things to charge yourself rather than discharge all day because you have a concert. So if you force yourself like this, I think it's makes sense.
Yes, I absolutely understand what you're saying. I think it's really important that you share this with many musicians around the world, so they have an idea of what is really is happening on your daily routine of the concerts. And you mentioned today before we started the seminar that you've been learning some interesting new pieces. Maybe you can share how did you come up with this kind of ideas? Because of the pandemic, or there's some different reason?
Yeah, you know, when the pandemic started for me, it started beginning of April. So until beginning of April, I was very busy. And then our festival started in Novosibirsk already end of March. We started, we managed to get maybe 5 concerts, three of what was already online, because it was serious pandemic situation. And of course, nobody wanted to take unnecessary risks of getting musicians of the orchestra and public, you know, an extra danger of getting virus. And at that point, we were absolutely helpless of how to do. Now it's a little bit easier towards, you know, how you get the virus and what is it happening, and what are simple things every person should do. You know, I mean, number one is distance, no matter what. If you're with mask or without mask, it's a distance. If you're far enough, then you're okay. And washing hands, that's but we do that since the Peter the Great, you know, was was the Tsar. Anyway, so those things. And yeah, and from middle of April, yeah, everything got postponed, canceled, whatever. And for the first maybe month and a half, I was only enjoying my free time at home with my family. That was so happy. 45, 46 days. I didn't even think about violin or music. I tried to really get everything out of my head. But after some time, so I treated this kind of forced sabbatical, because, you know, for now, I don't know, 35 years I've been running like you know, it's almost speed of sound in airplanes. And it's been, yeah, kind of even needed at some point, I'm sure, uh, sabbatical time. But after 45 days, I really start missing it, missing sounds, missing harmonies, missing. So I was listening to music, and finally I started practicing, and I thought, okay, I will do something. And so as a result, there are many things I learned. The number one, the proud, is Vitan number 5, that that somehow kept my youth. I never played it when I was, you know, it's a student concerto. You know, I think every student, not every violinist in his student years. That's what I mean. Must learn this concerto. But for some reason, I never learned it. I immediately wanted Tchaikovsky and Brahms, Sibelius, and so. But it's been a long time love affair with this music. I find it so romantic, and I find it so nicely written. It's violinistic. It's sometimes banal. Sometimes it is so powerfully passionate, and it's just amazing piece. And then it's been for me 3 years since I wanted to learn the concerto of Chausson for violin, piano, and the string quartet. So the Chausson, I find this is amazing piece, and it's such a beautiful music, and you know, just I'm a fan of that concerto. So this is new for me, and you know, Ravel sonata, the short sonata for violin and piano, Ravel, because Ravel is my love too. I can't live without Ravel. I always play something. It's not much, unfortunately, in the violin repertoire, but the violin cello solo sonata, it's been on my list for some time. So
And the trio. Have you played the trio?
yes,
Trio
absolutely,
is an incredible piece, and just
it's a
one of the most
beautiful. Yeah.
fascinating chamber music pieces I ever discovered. Very
It
complex.
is beautiful, yes. But the violin and piano solo, no, violin and cello solo sonata. And so I'm preparing this for the next edition of the festival now. And so
So
it's also new.
You just finished. You had a late start and late finish of one festival, and you're starting the new one, new edition soon, right?
Yes, you see, because of pandemic, yeah, we had to reschedule everything other 2 times. First, we created the missing concerts in September, October. Then September started again some difficult times after summer, and we had to reschedule for all the way to December. So this festival, which was the 7th edition, is finished for us in middle of December instead of middle of April. So everything is 8 months late. And the next festival we are planning to still go on the end of March, on the 25 of March, start the 8th edition. So I hope everything we have, everything will be, you know, as we plan, as we schedule it. But again, we never know. Sometimes the horizon of planning is about 2 days, 2 weeks. But I think if we have a little chance, we should do it.
Absolutely, yes. I was able to watch some of the live broadcasts last month, and you know, I was it was incredible to see that it's really in Novosibirsk and in Krasnoyarsk. I think you performed, and there's so much interest, and there's a still live concert which everyone is missing around, and I was so happy to see that.
Yes, in Russia it's a full swing. It's a lot of concert. Of course, with the you know, in the
Reduced,
theaters in Moscow,
reduced
for
capacity.
example, you can only seat 25% of public. In other cities, it varies between 25 to 50. Some places, I think, even do 100. Uh, which is I think is, you know, I think is great, is wonderful, because you know, if we close the concert halls, then one should close the underground, the buses, all the transport, and everything else as well, which is a much more dangerous place as a concert hall, where public comes, everybody with masks, and everyone is taking extra care of how to behave. And so by following these simple advices, I think the situation still with live music is very pleasant, because when there is no entertainment, so to say, entertainment in classical music, yeah, it's partly entertainment anyway. It's very difficult to live productive life, I think, for everybody. And if you to again logically, and to find this golden middle between extra dangerous and shut down, I think we are in search of it.
Absolutely, and I think you also lead by the example that we still have a bright future, and then you have so many plans for the festival. You bring good friends, your partners, and you play chamber music. You make new commissions for wonderful music. Last year, I think.
Yeah, we have now an incredible roster of wonderful pieces for violin and orchestra by Sofia Gubaidulina, Arvo Piarta, Lera Auerbach, Benjamin Yusupov, and Raskatov, and many great pieces that been created because of us, because of festival. So that's something historic about this festival, which I'm really proud of.
Absolutely.
And we use also a lot of youth orientated projects. It started all as a little master classes of every guest artist who come to visit, who come to play for the festival, and we would ask politely, spend a couple of hours. It was with our next generation, stars to be soon. And it's been always successful. We have audiences of until 500 people to watch master classes come live to see. And now it turned out to be almost a full year experience for young kids, when we invite through the year wonderful teachers, professors, and they stay for sometimes 12 days or 2 weeks, and not to give a master class, but master course. When during 2 weeks you can really make great progress. And then we ask the teachers to give us their favorites, and when we have this, we schedule concerts together with the best of young players who took part in this.
Yeah, it's wonderful. It's wonderful, and I know how much you enjoy chamber music and collaborating with very talented young musicians. So I think it makes a great example how music is important, and how education is important. So when you bring this world-renowned musicians with you to Siberia and all around the world, because festival been traveling actually to different part of the world.
We had many exciting places as well. Some projects that been created for the festival, they attract some attention, and we are happy to show them outside Siberia, outside Russia even, quite often. So we're very, very happy about this.
Yeah, so I wish you the best with the festival, with all your plans. And
Thank you, Dima.
It's an incredible pleasure and joy to spend this time with you in this new kind of virtual environment.
New environment, but at the very beginning the line was not so good, but it improved afterwards. Anyway, I was very happy to hear very good violin playing, and enjoyed music, and I think so that's to be continued at some point. And it's wonderful idea that you setting up such a global project, and I can see just by the way what I received email from your team, how thoughtful it is, even technologically, so to get online as simple as possible. And there are so many what in email I wrote, the ways you can connect. I never heard of it before. So it's something for me to learn. I only know, FaceTime or Zoom now, but there are really unbelievable
Yes,
progress.
it's also this project gave me lots of energy and focus when we started in this past fall in October. And of course, there's so many things no one knew how to operate, and now every time, even with some little technical issues, still I think there's lots of value for everyone to have a chance to work with people like you. Otherwise, it would be practically impossible at this time of our life. Hopefully, one day we'll have the same kind of seminar in the real life environment. But
yes, of course, yeah, there is nothing like experience in the
yes,
in the atmosphere, of course.
What we have, and your teaching and your thoughts, I think, will stay with everyone who was present today, and hopefully we'll have more chances to interact with you, because I think you're a very humble person and very sincere. It's always I always like this in you, and I think it's incredible quality. But in your teaching today, you really summon up so many incredible lifetime experiences. And I guess it's not only your experience, but you somehow were able to elaborate on something perhaps you learn from other people. So there's a picture of entire piece you were able to present within 1 hour, and I think it's incredible talent you have. And so I just encourage you to share it more.
I see where you're going. I see where you're going. We will see. We will see. But yeah, when you have a little time, of course, you want to say many things, but it's impossible. Some things are just impossible by time. But anyway, I hope that your project will grow up not only online, but it will be also offline in all over the world. So as easy as it is with the Zoom, and I'll be always supporting you.
Thanks so much. I always value your friendship and the way as a musician you still give so much different ideas, and you still somehow encourage all the players around the world to know that there's something else. There's something
yeah
else.
But it took your encouragement for this session to happen, and that's what I wanted to underline, actually. That yes, I'm here 2 hours and then I'm free. I go for dinner.
Okay.
But for
So
you,
I don't
it
want
is
to
a
keep you
lot of things to follow up, and to give not only time, but to give passion for that. And I wish your project to
Thank you so much.
give up and to be great as always.
Thank you.
It's so good to see you, Dima. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
Bye bye, Vadim. Bye bye.
Bye. Bye.